Okay, welcome to another episode of Business Talk, a podcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. I'm George O'Brien. We have a terrific show for you today. We have with us Alex Balise. She is the Director of Corporate Strategy for Balise Auto Sales. And Giancarlo Crivelli. He is the founder and executive director of Fishing Friends. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, we have kind of a different kind of show for you today. These two are members of the 40 under 40 class of 2026. You're all readers of Business West, so you probably know that already. We just introduced our class in our last issue, and we thought we would have a few members of that class come in today to kind of talk about 40 under 40, kind of represent this year's class, and we'll kind of tell their stories. You can get a little flavor for what our program is all about and the type of rising stars that we have in our program. We'll also do a little bit of promotion. The annual 40 under 40 event is coming up in June. We'll have some specifics for you as we move along. And you can go on our website, businesswest.com, for information and to buy tickets. But first of all, let's talk about the two of you. Again, you are representative of our class of 2026 in that you are excelling in what you're doing, both in the field, in your case especially, uh, but also behind the scenes, working within the community. And in your case, both hats are being worn at the same time. So, Alex, let's start with you. You've been with Balise for some time now. This is a family business. You represent, I believe, the fifth generation. Do I have that right?
Fourth.
Fourth generation.
hmm
Okay, all right. Fourth generation. It was your great grandfather that started way back with was it a Chevy dealership on Main Street, if I recall correctly? Yeah,
That was the first dealership, but it started in 1919 fixing farm equipment.
do recall that. Yes. You had a 100th anniversary not that long
We
ago,
did,
if I
yeah.
remember
It was
correctly. So,
exciting.
talk about briefly your work with police. You started there back several years ago, and you've been moving up the ranks ever since.
Yeah, so I started, well, of course, I'm part of the family. So I worked there in the summers growing up, odd jobs filling in where needed. And then I started full time in 2015 as an analyst for the car washes because we were opening a new location. Um, and then I mostly worked in marketing until a couple years ago when I started having a dual role of marketing and kind of strategic projects. And then this past fall, I moved full time into director of corporate strategy. And the big project right now is we have a major system change coming up that we're very excited about, but we're less than 3 weeks away. So it's really crunch time right now.
Now, was working for the family business a goal, something you've thought a lot about growing up? Was this predetermined in any way, shape, or form?
I always thought I would join the family business. I thought it would be more like around now.
Okay.
But after I got my MBA, I started working on this project and then I got sucked into everything else and now I wouldn't change it. I enjoy what I'm doing and the best part is what we get to do for the community.
This is where you get to give a quick commercial, if you will, for Belize. This
Oh, all right.
dealership
So,
group continues to grow. Tell us what
yes.
is in the portfolio now.
Yeah, so we started primarily with dealerships and we've since expanded to include a variety of businesses to meet all your automotive needs. So in addition to the dealerships, we have collision repair, car wash, an insurance company. So we're kind of there for anything you need with your vehicle.
Okay.
You'll do better, so much
I
better.
know.
Exactly. Thank you.
Now you did. That was a good
I didn't
segue.
even ask him to do
You,
that.
you got you
I
got involved in marketing as well,
Yes.
and talk a little bit about the marketing work and how you work to kind of personalize the message the police was sending out. It was your Uncle Mike that handled marketing for so many years, and now I
Yeah.
think you've got to focus on the people that are working for you in your ads and in your
Yes.
promotions. Yeah.
Yeah, so for a long time, my Uncle Mike was the face of Belize, and that's who everyone knew as Belize. He was in the ads, he was in the community, and he just had the best personality for that, right? Like he was a perfect spokesperson for the company. When he passed, we had to figure out what we were going to do now because I wasn't going to be the spokesperson. Jeb wasn't going to be the spokesperson. So it took us a little while to figure out how to make us human again. Um, and a few years ago, we decided that what makes Balise is our people. So why not feature the people at each dealership? And at first, people were a little hesitant to agree to be on TV because it's a little scary, right? Like you don't know what to expect, and are
Mhm.
you going to be good on camera? What if you freeze up? And our agency was great at making everybody comfortable, and we've just been blown away by how well everyone did. And then the amount of feedback that they get from family and friends saying, "Oh, we see you on TV. Oh, we saw you on TV." Has been great. And now we have people asking like, "Oh, can I be in the next one? When are we doing another?"
Okay. When are you going to get in? No, I'm kidding. You do your work behind the scenes. I
Yes, I
understand
prefer
that
behind the
part also.
scenes.
Speaking of behind the scenes, our 40 under 40 winners, again, they are known for and they're being honored for generally a mix of what they do professionally and what they do in the community. And in your case, you've been a standout in both. You've been involved with a lot of different nonprofits over the years. I've linked to libraries. I know you read in the classroom, but especially Square One. Tell us about how you came to be involved with Square One, and then talk about the recent fundraising effort and how you got your family involved in that to a degree that what they were 6 zeros on the checks, I believe. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I first was introduced to Square One in 2019. We were already sponsoring a classroom when I got involved and I visited, and I was just blown away by how happy and engaged the kids were, and the staff was amazing. And then I heard about what was happening in a lot of the kids' home lives, and that made it so much more impressive that everyone was so happy and engaged in the classroom. And then as I got to know them more, I learned about everything they do outside the classroom to really help families be able to thrive. So they have a lot of family support services for young parents, first time parents, parents who are recovering from addiction or have been previously incarcerated. So they do a ton of work in the community to be able to support not just the kids' education, but the whole family's ability to thrive. And every time I would meet them over those first few years, they would have a new program, and all the old ones were still running. They just kept adding to it and supporting in more ways. So when they started their Back to Square One campaign to go back to the lot they were on before the tornado, I knew we wanted to be involved.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, when I talked to Jeb about it, well, I wasn't surprised that he wanted to be involved, but I was surprised by the extent that he was willing to be because of how much I had shared with them about everything they do in the community, and he had met them as well. So um, that was the first part. And so we committed $1 million to their Back to Square One campaign, which we hope encouraged other companies and individuals to give to. And then phase two of that was that they bought the building. Well, we bought and gifted them the building
Mhm.
in front of it because it it would have been tough to have a children's preschool and care center behind a building that wasn't really in use, and you don't know what's going on there when it's not in
Mhm.
use, right? So it was important for safety for the school and just for safety for Springfield, right? To make sure that that building was in use. And we already knew that Square One had outgrown the first building before they even moved in because of
Okay.
all the services they've been adding.
All right. And Square One opened that new building late last fall, I
They
believe.
did, yeah, and they have their kids in
Yes.
the classrooms now, and yeah, it's a beautiful facility.
It's a great story of giving back. Congratulations again, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. You're watching Business Talk, the podcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. We're talking with two of our 40 under 40 winners for 2026, Alex Balise and Giancarlo Crivelli. You are the founder of Fishing Friends. Can you tell us about this nonprofit? It's amazing. I don't fish very much. I don't have a whole ton of patience, and years ago I tried to get into this sport. I never caught anything, and I think I
Well, you
gotta
gotta
put
come
it
fish with
down
us.
again, and I gotta pick it back up again as I approach 70. But anyway, so tell us about Fishing Friends.
Fishing Friends is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit started St. Patrick's Day 2022 with the mission of teaching youth about fishing so they can build character, connect with nature, develop meaningful relationships, and learn new life skills. We want to provide every child with the opportunity to get outside in nature and get fishing.
Now, you were inspired to do this by your own personal experience with fishing. Talk about this. This was your father and your grandfather that took you fishing when you were young, and it just left an indelible mark on you.
Yeah, my father and my grandfather, they taught me how to fish ever since I could walk. I'll show you real quick. That's a
Here
picture
they
of
are.
me fishing pretty much since I could walk. And yeah, it's always been an integral part of my life. We got 4 or 5 generations of fishermen in my family. And so essentially my father, he passed away when I was 12 years old, and my grandfather passed away right after him from a broken heart because that was his only son. And so I used fishing as a way to honor their memory, stay connected with them, and handle the loss. And then during the pandemic, everyone was inside, nobody was getting outside. So I started taking my nieces, my nephews, my friends, and family fishing. And everyone loved it. They talked about how much fun it was, how great of an experience it was. But they also talked about how they had never done it before. Or if they had, they hadn't done it in over a decade. And so when I realized there's so many folks in the community, especially inner city youth, who don't get that opportunity to get outside in nature as much. I realized this is what I was meant to be doing. This was my calling, my mission, my purpose, and it's been amazing getting the kids outside in nature, teaching them new experiences, giving them knowledge that was handed down to me from my grandfather and father. It's a real full circle moment. A lot of times when I'm taking these kids fishing,
Mhm.
it brings me back to those days where I was fishing with my dad.
All right, we're going to talk in a minute about what kind of lessons fishing provides for people, how it helps them grow and maybe develop patience and teamwork and all those good things. But talk first a little bit more about your organization and where it takes kids to go fishing and the different types of programs you have. I understand that fishing people don't like to give away their good spots, the kind of trade secrets, if you will. But um, talk in vague terms about where you take these kids fishing.
Yeah, so I'll mention that we have a couple different programs. Not only do we take kids fishing, we have Aqua Academy where we go into the schools, community centers, and summer camps. And we do interactive presentations with the youth, bringing animals into the classroom, small fish, crawfish, worms, things like that, just to get the kids inspired to get outside in nature. We have our Beyond the Banks initiative where we actually take the kids out fishing from the shore in the canoe or in the motorboat, whatever their families are comfortable with. And we take them fishing at all spots all along Western Mass or even further. We go to Hampton Ponds in Westfield, we go to 5 Mile Pond in Springfield, we go on the Connecticut River, everyone knows that. But we also do trips down to like Old Saybrook, Connecticut, and we do
Cool.
striper trips or deep sea fishing trips. It really just depends on what families are comfortable with, what they want to learn about. We also have a program called conservation cleanups, where we coordinate trash cleanups at local bodies of water in Western Mass to revitalize the environment and revitalize the community and teach environmental stewardship to the next generation of young anglers. Lastly, we have harbor hands, where we teach youth the trade of boat repair. We teach them how to fix the fiberglass, repair the upholstery, fix some electrical aspects, some mechanical aspects. We just want to teach them as much as possible and give them hands-on learning experiences.
Cool. All right. Now you get to talk about what people learn from fishing and why this is such a valuable exercise for people of all ages.
Yeah, so fishing, everyone knows fishing teaches patience. Takes a minute to actually catch a fish, and every now and then you might not even catch one. That's why it's called fishing, not catching. But yeah, along with patience, it teaches resilience. Sometimes you're gonna face challenges and hurdles throughout your experience, and it's all about bouncing back and staying persistent and resilient. Along with that, I'd say it teaches teamwork, especially when
Mhm.
we got these larger groups of kids. We take trips up to 20, 25 kids at a time. And so when we got 3 kids in a canoe, we really want them to learn how to work as a team to paddle the canoe across the lake or communicate with one another when they got a fish and they need the net or anything like that. It's a teamwork bonding experience.
All right. Now you're both fisher people, I guess we call them. Fisher people? No. That's
Anglers.
anglers. Talk about your angling. Alex, you go up to Quebec every summer?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started going up as a kid with my dad in the summers, and then now I've been able to bring my family, which has been amazing. And last year I started teaching my son how to cast. We go
Mhm.
salmon fishing every summer. So yeah,
Give me one fishing moment. You've got thousands of them. You've got hundreds. Give me one good fishing moment. Something you'll never forget when you're.
I think for me, teaching my son how to cast was
Mhm.
a lot of fun. He's still working on it, right? But last year, for his birthday, we went out on the river and we taught him how to cast with fly fishing, which is challenging. And he did hook me once, but that's why you wear your hood. And now he's doing great. So we're excited to see it this year. And maybe I can get my daughter to try this year too.
There we go. One good moment among all those others.
You said I've got thousands. Can I give you 3?
Quickly.
All right. So in 2023, I took the Hispanic American Library fishing at 5 Mile Pond. And at the end of the trip, one of the kids in my canoe, he turns to me and says, "Man, this is better than basketball." And this was his first time fishing. And so for a kid growing up in Springfield, the birthplace of basketball, to say that this is better than basketball, I think
Hmm.
it speaks a lot to how amazing an experience fishing can be. 2024, am I doing the math? Yes, 2024. Um, I was taking a kid fishing at Hampton Ponds, and his mom called him on the phone and said, "All right, kiddo, it's time to wrap up. We got to get going. I'm about to take you to Disneyland." And his response was, "I don't want to go to Disneyland. I want to go fishing."
Okay.
And so for a kid to say that about fishing is, as I said, it speaks a lot to the experience. And lastly, um, last year I took my niece fishing for the first time. She had been real hesitant about it, real. Took her a minute to get her out there, but once we did get her out there for the first time, she caught a walleye her first time fishing on the Connecticut River.
Cool.
And later on, my aunt reaches out to me and tells me that that was her favorite experience out of all of 2025 was going fishing with her uncle and catching a walleye.
Okay. So we got four great memories. All right. So you guys are hooked. Maybe I'll get hooked again sometime.
Give
I'm
me a
not good
call.
at fishing. I'm good at fishing. I'm not good at catching. So maybe someday.
Well, even
Well,
fishing is,
even fishing. Yes.
a nice calming experience if you get into it.
All right. Well, again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming in. Congratulations to you and to all the members of the class of 2026. Uh, to our viewers, visit businesswest.com. Get all the information on our event and to purchase tickets. Again, thank you for coming in. If you've been watching Business Talk, a broadcast presented by Business West and sponsored by Greenfield Cooperative Bank. I'm George O'Brien. We'll see you next time.